Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. I am Lisa Sharmah Gilbert Jesuet, a visiting lecturer for the Preparatory Center for Science and Technology, University Malaysia Sabah, and today we'll be discussing about the introduction to bioenergetics. So for the course outline, we have four main topics to discuss today. The first one is thermodynamics, followed by metabolism, catabolism versus anabolism, and ATP as fuel currency. At the end of the study, students should be able to understand, explain, demonstrate, and critically describe the principles of energy transformation in biochemistry and hence able to calculate the free energy change value in living organisms. So, let's start with the energy of life. The living cell is a miniature chemical factory where thousands of reactions occur. The cell extracts energy and applies energy to perform work. Just like us, we need to eat for us to gain energy to do work. Bioenergetics is the study of how organisms manage their energy resources. And the energy is the capacity to cause change or to do work. Referring to the figure on the screen, most life forms on Earth get their energy from the sun. Plants use photosynthesis to capture sunlight, and herbivores eat those plants to obtain energy. Then carnivores eat the herbivores, and the decomposers digest plants and animals. As we can see here, this is the energy transformation through food chains. The main source of energy is the sun. The sunlight will be absorbed by the plant, then it will be eaten by a herbivore, which is the bunny, and then it will then be eaten by a carnivore, which is, for the example here, is the fox. The fox will then die and its remains will be decomposed by the decomposers. So basically we have a lot of types of energy in the universe, but let's focus on 5 first. The first one is the kinetic energy. It is energy associated with objects in motion. The second one is the heat or thermal energy, where the energy from random movements of atoms or molecules that produces heat. The third one is the potential energy, where it is actually the energy a matter possesses because of its location or structure. The fourth one is the chemical energy, which is the energy stored in the form of chemical bonds for release in a chemical reaction. And finally is the electrical energy, which is the energy produced due to the separation of charges and flow of electrons. Here I've inserted some GIF for you to understand more about the energy involved. So for kinetic energy, it has to do with motion. For the thermal energy, it has to do with the production of heat. The potential energy is a potential energy possessed by a matter. For in this GIF, the higher the location of the penguin, the higher the potential energy kept within. And the fourth one is the chemical energy. And finally, it's the electrical energy. Okay, so if you can focus on the figure here, the molecules in gasoline, which is octane, contain chemical energy within the chemical bonds. This energy is transformed into kinetic energy that allows a car to rest on a racetrack. And if you can focus on the figure here, a diver, which is located up in the uppermost platform, has the most potential energy rather than those below. So, from the potential energy, diving converts the potential energy to kinetic energy, and when the diver reaches the water, it has less potential energy in water rather than the platform. And climbing up converts the kinetic energy of muscle movement to potential energy. Okay, let's have a little simple practice here. Explain the energy transfer or transformation in the following situations. The first one is photosynthesis, which we obviously know is the production of energy or food from sunlight by plants. And second one is the campfire. Third one is a blender. And fourth one is a toaster. So explain the energy transfer for photosynthesis. For photosynthesis, it started with solar or light energy and transformed into chemical energy, which is the chemical or form of food in terms of food or energy it stored inside. For the campfire, it started with chemical energy from the wood, kept inside the wood in forms of fibers or lignocellulosics, and then it will be converted into thermal energy or heat. And then the next one is a blender, where it is initiated by electrical energy to kinetic energy with the blendings of the blender blades inside. And for the toaster, obviously it's from electrical energy into thermal energy or heat for them to produce for the toaster to burn our bread. Okay, so we've gone through a little bit about energy. So let's dig into our first course outline, which is the thermodynamics. Thermodynamics is the study of energy and energy transformation involving physical matter. It is divided into three types of system: the open, closed, and isolated system. If you can focus on the figure on your right, the open, closed, and isolated system can be referred as a thermos, a closed mug, and an open mug, in which the thermos has no exchange of energy and exchange of matter whatsoever, but the closed mug has an exchange of energy but not exchange of matter, and for the open mug has both exchange of energy and exchange of matter. Exchange of energy and exchange of matter here means that the energy can be transmitted into the surroundings. For the exchange of matter, for the perfect analogy is for this cup of hot water. When it releases heat or exchange of energy, it also exchanges its matter from liquid to water vapors or gases. Biological organisms are open systems, which means the energy and matter can be transferred between the systems and its surrounding. So, we can refer to our biological organisms as an open cup, where it can exchange energy and matter as well. There are three laws of dynamics here. However, we will only focus on the first and the second one. The first law is energy can be transferred and transformed, but it cannot be created or destroyed. It is also known as the law of conservation. The second law is every energy transfer or transformation increases the disorder or entropy of the universe. And the third one, just an honorable mention, is the entropy of a system approaches a constant value as the temperature approaches absolute zero. Or simply to say, entropy is zero when temperature is zero. According to the first law of thermodynamics, the energy of the universe is constant. It cannot be transferred and transformed, but it can be transferred and transformed, but it cannot be created or destroyed. Pardon my faux pas. The first law is also called the principle of conservation of energy. So basically, from this cute figure below, the solar or light energy is transferred and to the plant and will be transformed into chemical energy. The challenge for all living organisms is to obtain energy from their surroundings in forms that they can transfer or transform into usable energy to do work. So, for the example for the energy transformations here, the first one is an ice cream. An ice cream actually contains chemical energy. So when we eat the ice cream, the chemical energy will be transferred and transformed into kinetic energy, in which we uses the energy to move. For the second example, the light energy, this is the same as my example before, from the sun will be transferred and transformed into chemical energy by the plants through photosynthesis. And during every energy transfer or transformation, some energy is unusable and is often lost as heat. According to the second law of thermodynamics,